Hi, I'm Robin and welcome to Well Conceived Business. We help online business owners within health and wellness to create a business and life that is not only well paid, but well lived. Here you'll find honest and refreshing conversations about what it takes to create a business around your life, what healthy hustle looks like, as well as insights and tips on growing your audience, your signature program, your profit, and your peace. Ready? Let's go. Hello, and welcome to Well Conceived Business for today. Today on the podcast, we are talking all about the wrong way to launch your online course or signature program. And I'm not just talking to everyone who is saying they're going to launch for the first time and just has this as a dream in their eye at the moment. I'm talking to everyone out there who has a program or a service that they maybe have launched before and it's just not going the way that you want. So I actually don't have one thing today. Today I have 11 kind of wrong ways to launch an online program or signature program. And the other thing that I want to say before we get started though is perfection is a unicorn. Everyone listening to this podcast is building their podcast in the margins of all of these other things that are happening in our lives. We have full lives. We do not operate our business in isolation. We don't operate our businesses as the only thing that we do in lives. So many of my clients in the Well Conceived Mastermind and in my other programs are living very full lives. You may have a 9-to-5 or a part-time job. You may be raising small children. You may have another business. You may be knee deep in acupuncture appointments or naturopathic appointments. So if this is you, please know that perfection is a unicorn. It doesn't exist. It's so hard to achieve the perfect launch. And I say to my clients in the mastermind all the time, if you don't have tech issues of some description during a launch, did you even launch? Because there are so many moving parts to a launch and so many things that can go wrong. So I really encourage you, and within the Launch Easy Life framework, we talk about baby steps, like have little launches that build and build and build on themselves, because so much of what you will do when you launch an online course, a signature program, is build assets that you can use again and again and again. That doesn't mean you'll just recycle things exactly as they are. You can change and shift and slightly tweak them, put different bows, different wrapping, a different little flair onto it. But by and large, a lot of what you will do when you have assets and elements, sales pages, email copy that works, is you will continue to use that time and time again. So there's a big difference in business and online business between tasks that are once and done, that are going to be an investment of your time, versus tasks that are just busy work and tasks that are not really serving a longer term purpose. So checking your emails, for example, versus building out a sales page. Which one of those tasks is actually the best investment of your time and energy, and which of those tasks is going to provide you with a return on investment in the future? Yes. So we're talking today about 11 wrong ways to launch an online course or signature program. Let's dive in. So number one is not launching it. I speak with so many and work with so many naturopaths, acupuncturists, dietitians, nutritionists who say, my dream is to create this signature program. And years later, it's still not there. Something has to give, and you have that focus of, do you know what? 3-6 months of head down, bum up. Maybe that means taking on a lower client load, whatever that means. Maybe if you are raising your babies while building your business, that means having some extra time for them in daycare or with loved ones, or every Sunday, if you have like a husband, saying to your husband, look, can you spend 3 hours every Sunday morning taking our children to the park or on a daddy date? Whatever that looks like, making sure that you build that in and knowing that that's a short-term thing to build once and done assets in your business. So I completely understand that creating all of those assets for an online course or online signature program is a lot, but really leaning into its once and done stuff and really trying to lean out of overwhelm. How do you eat the whale? It's one of my favorite phrases. How do you eat the whale? One bite at a time. But if you just commit to investing the time in creating and launching one element at a time and doing things messy, imperfect, and showing up as you are going to get so much further along than having always waited and being like, oh yeah, but I haven't got this part in place yet, or just sitting paralyzed or all of the to-do list. You're much better knocking it off, putting it out there imperfectly, not whole, and improving and adding as you go. I do not want you to be another year down the track dreaming of this and it not be a reality yet. So number 2, in terms of creating an online course or a signature program, is including too much one-to-one time. And so particularly when we're creating something like an online course, it can be very tempting for us to say, well, I'm going to add this and I'm going to add that and I'm going to add in, and all of these elements that are truly not necessary for your Cloud9 client to get the result that they need. You will, if you've had enough one-to-one clients or patients over the time that you've been running your business, you will know that there are a set number of steps and things that someone needs to know, understand, and do in order to get the transformation or the result that you are offering. And people can be like, oh yeah, but there's PCOS, there's endometriosis, there's this and this and this. If you're like, oh, all my clients are so different, I would say then that what if you narrowed down to become an expert at one particular client? But the next thing that I would also say is sometimes if we actually drill down to it, the root cause of things is the same. And the treatment sometimes is often very similar as well. But by and large, even if it's just the basics of what people need to do, those things are often, it's the same framework, whether it's life coaching, whether it's like a diet for endometriosis or whatever it is, likely that you have a set framework that you offer and provide and support people with. So the problem with having too much one-to-one time in something that is a signature program or an online course is that you're going to very quickly run out of time. And something like an online course or signature program, something that's not just, like book a consultation, book single appointments, etc., is very marketing heavy. And so what's going to happen is you're going to end up having a full calendar, not enough time to market your business or service. Sales are going to fall flat. And you're going to end up feeling like you should go back to one-to-one. Or when you have loads and loads of one-to-one, you are going to tap out income-wise. There is only so much of you, and particularly if you can work part-time, like I see it time and time again, even with myself, that you just tap out in terms of your time and capacity and income ceiling. What is sometimes or often I find a better approach. And so sometimes your online course or signature program, you may want to include some one-to-one elements. Maybe it's a 90-minute deep dive. Maybe it's like a strategy session or an audit of what supplements someone's taking. It's perfectly fine to have some of those elements in there, but really stepping back into, could they get the transformation that they signed up to get without that? And then if they want that for additional convenience, ease, support, customization, whether that's an opportunity for an add-on in the back end, so that you're still getting people through the door, there's still those options there, but then you can say to people on the back end that there's an opportunity to add one-to-one. But without, and this is the other thing, is we also don't want to, if you have one-to-one offers alongside something like an online course, number one, they have to have a really different transformation, because if it's too same, people are going to get confused about what's right for them. But number two is that you don't want to cannibalize your one-to-one services when something like the online course is going to be much better for someone to start off with. And I understand, though, that some people just want one-to-one. We don't have to have products and services that appeal to everyone. We don't have to work with everyone, but it's going to depend on you and the type of business that you want, and whether the business that you want gives you back some free time, working capacity you have to run your business too. So number 3, in terms of, like the wrong way to launch an online course or service, is that you're launching something that isn't focused on conversions. You're not really focusing enough on getting people to go through the process of understanding your process, understanding what makes you different, understanding what the root cause of their dis-ease is. So whatever's going on. What is the root cause of their problem? Getting them to understand that, because big disconnect is that often we're selling something that the customer doesn't really understand why they need this. But focusing on conversions and focusing on how many people do I need through the door to keep the doors of my business open? What does that pricing look like? How is that going to look in order for me to build a sustainable business? And then really focusing in on that conversion rate. Literally, it's one of the biggest things you can focus on and pay attention to in your business, because if you have a conversion rate of 1% and you can raise that to 2%, you literally have doubled your revenue. I'm sure that makes sense to you. Number 4 is kitchen sink offers. So this is where someone who has worked in fertility land for a long time, I see this all the time. People are like, yeah, I'll help you with the diet, and I'll help you with the mindset, and I'll help you with your relationship, and I'm going to help you with yoga, and I'm going to help you with everything. And like, I know that a lot of courses and offers, mine included, can sometimes, as you're adding bonuses and things like that, it become meatier and meatier and meatier. But there is a case for constantly leaning things out and having a really honed in message. If you have a dentist that's like, I'll do everything, I'm here to do all the things, I'll do the braces, I'll do this, versus if you have someone who says, I'm the specialist pediatric dentist. So we booked into the general dentist, speaking of dentists, not that long ago. We got in within 3 days. We were then referred to a pediatric dentist who was like, no, we've got an 8-month wait list. Right? When you specialize in something and you're the expert in something, it automatically raises demand. It clarifies the messaging and it helps people really readily identify with the reason why they need to sign up and work with you. And even within lifestyle, even within mindset, hone in, niche down. Like, you can constantly niche down and really refine the messaging in your programs and services. But if you're like, I'll help you do everything, then we just end up not truly resonating with people, not being able to go deep enough within the program or service that we provide, and things might fall flat, and it becomes more and more and more to maintain. Number 5 is the wrong way to launch a program or service is trying to solve a problem that people don't have or that people don't want to fix. And it's the second half that I find particularly interesting, because a lot of the time we'll be like, yeah, this is a problem. But the answer is it a problem that people want to fix or are ready to fix? Sometimes people have a problem, but they're actually not necessarily motivated to fix or change that problem. So therefore, if there's a disconnect between you providing something that you think people want versus something that they want and that they want to solution to, it's going to be so much more easier to sell to the market when you have something that you know people have a demand for. It's like rule 101 of marketing. Next one is creating everything and then launching. I'm sure if you have dived into the world of creating your own online course or signature program, you have seen the to-do list. There's sales pages, there's emails, there's social media, there's creating the course, there's what course platform do I use, how do I price it, all of these things. There is a lot that goes into it. Again, it's an investment of your time and your energy. And when I talk about investment, it's something that pays dividends in the future. But yes, there is a lot to create. And so many people will want to create everything, the course modules, get it looking perfect, etc. It's completely the wrong way to launch. The right way to launch is you'll do a set number of tasks. You will first ascertain demand, and I call this an ascertain launch within the Launch Easy Life program. We call this an ascertain launch. We validate our offer by creating a few key elements and then putting out some strategic emails to our audience to get people to raise their hands, say, I'm interested and I want to purchase, and then we get paid to create our course or our program. We don't launch with elaborate sales pages or anything because we don't want to put in the work if we haven't validated the demand. And also, we don't want to put in the work when we haven't had real life testers go through and do like market research on it before we've triple checked that we get the result that we promise by having a few people go through the program or service first. And it's essential, really essential to do it that way. There's only going to be a few times when you wouldn't want to do that, when you can guarantee that there is demand, when you can guarantee it's going to sell well, when you know through and through and through that it is a program or service that's going to convert, yes, maybe. And when you know that you will be able to create all of the modules, etc., in time. But again, coming right back to the beginning of not launching, and the people who I've worked with, like many, many people who have spent years and years and years dreaming about an online course, program, service, and haven't been able to get it out the gates because they just are deer in headlights about all of the to-do list, and they're trying to get it perfect when that's actually not what you're aiming for. You're aiming for the minimum viable, marketable product that you're going to put out, and it's never going to be finished. It's never going to be perfect because you are an evolving person. The market is evolving. Economy shifts and changes. So there's always going to be tweaks that you have to make. Any to-do list that you have is never empty and never stays empty, just like laundry. It's going to keep changing and evolving, but that doesn't mean don't ever do it. That means start doing it like one bit at a time and do it in the right order. In the Launch Easy Life program, we call this an ascertain launch. And that's going to enable you to get your program and service out quickly with social proof, getting paid to do it, with the feedback that comes from doing that as well. It's 10 times the best way to launch. If you're a health and wellness practitioner and you're growing your business, you know that Instagram is unrivaled in its ability to grow, connect, and convert your audience all on the one platform. But it's not just about going viral and reaching a bunch of people. It's about grabbing your Cloud9 clients' attention in a way that positions you as an authority and a service provider. Want to know exactly how to do that? I have a free PDF case study with 3 example posts that will give you an insight into 3 different types of posts you can create today to help you do just that. Check out our show notes or visit launcheasylife.com/social to get your hands on this free PDF copy today. Number 7 is going evergreen too soon. So if you don't know what evergreen means, it means that your course or program is always available for purchase. And I've done evergreen, I've done live launching, I've done things the easy way, I've done things the hard way. And I can tell you right now that people spruik that evergreen is an easier and more lucrative option. It's not been my experience. And that does not to say that evergreen is bad. I love having some evergreen products. However, in my experience, live launching is less stressful and more lucrative. Everyone sees evergreen as the dream. It's always open. And then I'm just, if I launch and I get 25 people, I'm just going to put out this and I'm going to get like so many more people. What you don't realize, or what most people don't realize, is that evergreen requires a completely different marketing strategy and promotion strategy. You need to show up on social media differently. The way that you pitch and message your program or service changes and shifts as well. So it's really not that easy. Live launching is definitely an easier way, and it allows you to test your emails, your sales page, all of those elements with bigger numbers of people in order to be able to optimize and refine those before going evergreen. It's so, so important, in my opinion, that you live launch at least a couple of times before going evergreen, and completely understand that evergreen requires a really quite radically different marketing strategy. Number 8, not having an audience. Now, if you have a small audience and you launch a course or a program, you just need to understand that's going to affect conversion rates. And there is nothing wrong with doing it. I've launched courses and programs in the business space here with a small audience, but I understand the conversion rates and what to expect within that. And so it's really important that you have aligned expectations. If you have 100 social media followers and 0 email subscribers, you're going to struggle to get sales. You're going to struggle to validate your program and service. Again, that doesn't mean you can't promote it and put something out there or have a one-to-one offer, but you do need to always be prioritizing growing your audience. And likewise, if you have already launched your program or service, maybe you've had 2 or 3 or 4 launches under your belt and it's gone really great, but now you're feeling like things are becoming stagnant, it's really easy to fall into the trap of, oh, it's the market conditions, it's the recession, whatever. Well, yes, it could be, but it could also be that you haven't focused enough on audience growth and that your audience has gone stale. Marketing and audience growth always needs to be, particularly if you have an online course or program, at the forefront of your mind. And particularly in terms of growing your email list, it is so much more valuable than just social media. And if you have a good social media audience and a good email list, then you get to sort of put your message in front of people more times. And we all know that people need to see your marketing message. It used to be 7 times. It's now like 21 times that they need to see that marketing message before they will purchase from you. So prioritizing growing your email list and growing your audience alongside all of the other tasks that you have in your business. Number 9, and this kind of leads in from your audience, is not reverse engineering your numbers. Industry standard for conversion rates is about 1 to 5% of the people who will visit your sales page. And the number of people who visit your sales page, I find, directly correlates, or quite strongly correlates, with the number of people who enroll in your breakthrough conversion event. That's a webinar, a challenge, whatever that is. So kind of very similar numbers. So let's say you get 100 people. Industry standard is that you will have 1 to 5 sales from the number of people who have visited the sales page or enrolled in the breakthrough conversion event. If you get 10%, you're a unicorn and you're doing something really great. So keep going with that. But that's sort of what we're looking at in terms of a conversion rate. You need to reverse engineer this. Okay, if I've got 100 people on my email list who are warm, like not this is my email list from 5 years ago that I haven't emailed in 5 years, right? It doesn't come down to that. It's about how many people enroll in your breakthrough conversion event. If you have 100 people and you make 1 sale, you're within industry benchmark. It's very hard with 100 people, because what if it was like 99 people and you got 0 sales versus 101 and you got 1? It's still kind of in that sphere of 1%. So I much prefer to say, let's aim for 200 to 300, because then we can say, well, if I get 2 to 10 sales, I'm within benchmark. If you've got 1%, you still want to focus on definitely improving that conversion rate up to like 3% if you can. Definitely 5% is optimum, but that's where you'll focus your energy on improving that conversion rate. But you need to reverse engineer those numbers. You cannot have an audience of 100 and be like, I'm manifesting 50 people to join my program or service at $10 or sell an ebook or whatever, and that's what the money that I'm going to make. Actually, it doesn't work that way. Reverse engineer it. 1%, 1 to 5% conversions, right? How many sales is that? All right. How many leads do I need to get through the door in order to make that happen? How many people do I need in my breakthrough conversion event or to visit my sales page in order to make that happen? You've got to reverse engineer it and then be realistic about the figures that you can achieve. And that's going to give you a big clue as to what it is that you need to focus on for future marketing. Number 10 is focusing on all the details and not the transformation. Sometimes, frequently, people actually really don't care that much about the vehicle that you use to get to the place that you want to go to. They actually care about the destination. The destination is Disneyland. I want to get to Disneyland, in the most comfort, the most speed possible. I don't care if it's a Boeing 737 or a Boeing 777. The details don't bother me that much. So many times we get really caught up and hung up on, I'm a dietitian or I'm a nutritionist or I have 12 modules of videos and, these are the exact details, like 54 hours of video recording. Actually, people mostly care about what is the destination, like where am I going to get to? And is that process going to be easy or quick or pleasurable, or is it going to be really long and painful for me to get through that and do that? That's what people care about. They care about the transformation and how that transformation is going to be made possible in their lives, rather than just all the details and the nitty gritty and this is what I've included. They don't care that much. They really just want to know, am I going to get there and how is that going to look like? And number 11, and this is major, and this is big for anyone who hasn't ever, this is for people who have launched a program or a service before, particularly. It's not having a solid pre-launch plan. You can launch a program or a service and sell. If you are focused on audience growth and have an email list, you'll make sales, but you will make dramatically more sales if you have a solid pre-launch strategy. So this is for anyone who has already validated their program or service. It is not just about like you all of a sudden say, I'm going to send out a couple of emails now and open the doors or hold a flash sale or whatever it is. You can do that. You will make sales doing that. But there's a preamble, right? There's pre-game to launching a course or a program or a service. And I alluded to this before, but one of the biggest elements of a pre-launch is people don't always know about the real problem that they have and the problem that needs to be solved. So it's really important that in our pre-launch strategy, we tick a lot of boxes and launch in a really elegant and sophisticated way so that our audience is primed and ready so that by the time they get to our breakthrough conversion event, they're like 70% there with knowing that they want to work with us, knowing that this is the right move for them, and feeling really excited about being in your launch process. And that's a dance. There's strategy, there's energy, all sorts that goes into that. But having a solid pre-launch strategy that is anywhere from 30 to 90 days prior to doors open will dramatically increase your conversion rates and sales. So I'm going to do a recap on these numbers because I love when people do that as well. So 11 of the things that you might be going wrong in launching your online course or program. Number 1, not launching. I get that it's overwhelming, but you don't want another year down the track still feeling bogged down and still not having done the thing that you have been dreaming about. Number 2, including too much one-to-one time. Ask yourself, is it really necessary? And could this be an add-on on the back end of my program or service? Number 3, not focused enough on conversions. Number 4, you're offering something that is too kitchen sinky and it's messing with your messaging. Number 5, not solving a problem that people really have or trying to solve a problem that people aren't really motivated to fix. Number 6, creating everything and then launching. It's totally the wrong way to go. Please don't do this. You want an ascertained launch first. Going evergreen too soon. Number 8, not having an audience to sell to. Number 9, not reverse engineering your numbers and having really realistic expectations. Number 10, focusing on the details and not the transformation. And number 11 is not having a solid pre-launch strategy. Oh, do any of these resonate with you? Or maybe there are multiple ones of this that resonate with you. If so, I'd love to hear on Instagram. Come and find me at Launch Easy Life. We have some exciting things coming up this month. So do make sure that you're following me on Instagram and that you've jumped on our email list. Details on that have been in this podcast. You know how to get there. You're going to want to be there because we have some really cool and exciting things coming up, particularly for anyone here who has already launched an online course and wants to make it 1,000 times better, or anyone who is stuck at number 1 and hasn't launched the online course or program. It's like, this is the year that I'm doing it. Like I want to get it done by the end of 2023. If that's you, you want to be on the email list and on my Instagram, you know where to find me. Have a great day. We are done with the meat and potatoes of this episode, but I am not letting you go just yet, my friend. Before you jump off, I have 3 quick things that I would love to share with you. Number 1 is thank you so much for listening today. If you'd like to hear more about growing your visibility through Instagram, podcasting, or Pinterest, creating or launching or growing your signature program, automations, or many more online business nuggets of gold, pause now, hit that subscribe button because we are here for you weekly. Number 2 is if you would like to learn more about working with us and joining our signature program, the Well-Conceived Mastermind, which is unlike any mastermind you've seen before, check out our show notes below and you will find all the links to join the waitlist or sign up and join the mastermind now. And number 3, lastly, if you do nothing else, make sure you come and find us on Instagram for daily behind the scenes and hugely savable and value-packed content. You will find us at Launch Easy Life. Well, that's it from me today. Now go out there and create your well-paid business and your well-lived life.